Exciting game. Very proud of the fight of the guys. We've seen that all year. Jamie Arnold came out, did a really nice job. And you learn when you're pitching to Wilkin and Kurtz and some of those guys, they have a really physical lineup. Like every one of those fastballs, you better locate it. And he did, and that was really the only blemish on his day. But I was proud of the way he kept at it. And his slider, thought his breaking pitch, you guys could probably see better. I thought it started to tighten up there a little bit at the back end of the outing. And he had thrown earlier in the week, and that was probably more than he had thrown in any stretch. And having come off what he did on Tuesday, we just felt like that was about enough. And just looking at his long-term outlook here, we didn't want to overdo it. And then the other guys on the back end, like Army pitched really good. I mean, his strikeout started to mount. Jamie struck out a good handful of people, and you can see how difficult, if you look back to yesterday, they're not an easy group to punch out. And those guys did a nice job. Dougie came in, and it's interesting, like Army and Dougie, the way it went for them yesterday, to get back on the horse today and pitch really nicely for us, it says a lot about them and their stick-to-itness to jump back on the horse and go. Because it's not easy sometimes in back-to-back days when you're coming off a little difficult outing. Vincent's double kind of got it going when there was not a lot happening. And Carry-On had a good at-bat. Holbrook was in there, had a good at-bat. And then it comes down to Jay Will. And like, we're aware of who sticks at it in that cage. And that guy's down there every day grinding it out. And he's into what he's doing when he's working. And I'm happy he had that moment. Now the slide thing, maybe it played out. Like some guys that work at it, you get your moment and maybe carry on the slide, whatever the replay, the out or safe. That led to Jay Will getting an opportunity to drive in a run in a walk-off situation. And I'm happy for Jay Will. It hasn't really clicked for him. He's gotten good opportunities, and today was something. He had a good, simple stroke at that, and sometimes we see him overswing. He didn't. He drove that ball into left center field, and I'm proud of the way the guys stuck with it. Even today, early, like when Wilkin hit that home run, like it just wasn't a good feeling, especially after coming off the loss yesterday in a pretty tough way. So the guys continue to grind through it, and the moms are all here, so hopefully everybody enjoyed that and is happy.
On Friday, you talked a lot about matching Wake's intensity on pitching and stuff like that. Do you feel Arnold really met that today?
I thought Jamie did a nice job. Like, we still have to figure out the secondary pitches. It's hard to consistently perform at this level if you don't have a really good secondary pitch in play. And I thought he started to show a little bit of it. And that's the next facet of his game, is really coming up with something that you can throw, not just like with two strikes, but in any count, like a really good 0-0 slider or a really good 1-0 changeup. And how many freshmen can do that? Maybe not many. I remember Louder when he was a freshman, and some of that takes a little bit of time and experience, but I think he's gotten a little bit better. You can look at that outing today and backtrack a month or so and think about some of the outings there. It was pretty good. So it will come. He can spin the ball. If you can't spin it, it's hard to ever figure out how to really spin a good breaking ball. He's got it. It's just his arm action is a little tricky for him to repeat and manage and really rip those things, and then he'll get the changeup too. And once he does that good lively fastball is just going to play more. He's just not going to have to throw it as much as he does now.
It seemed like the most intense game that we've seen this year. I guess just one, from your point of view, I guess just how intense was it down there in the dugout, and two, just how happy were you with the way they handled the moment?
Well, there's a lot of this stuff that goes on. And it seems in baseball in general to have escalated a little bit. And there's moments that I didn't think used to be something that would create somebody chirping at somebody else, but we do see it. And once that starts, I mean, clearly they're a very talented team, but I think once it starts on both sides, then things start to ramp up and people start looking for a reason to get intense or get emotional. There's really only one thing you can do to kind of contain and throttle that, and that's play well and focus on the things that allow you to win games and play good baseball. So that part of it can't override what you're having to do to focus and navigate and perform within the game. If that adrenaline from the excitement allows you to play a little bit better, great. If that's taking us out of our game or them out of their game, then it's a really misdirected sort of energy that probably doesn't play out for you in the long run. Now, after the game, the excitement and let it fly a little bit. But they're a good team, and I think we have a guy on our team that was there, so there's some of that, just knowing Ox knows those guys, and I think that sometimes adds to it. I'm happy he pitched well in his outings this weekend. So yeah, it was intense, and it was good, and it was a good win.
With what happened yesterday and you guys being eliminated from the postseason, did you talk to the team today about that at all, and still trying to keep a good mindset? Is that
in a roundabout way? Yes. They owe it to themselves, their teammates, fans, families to come out and play hard and play good baseball. And there's times you feel like you're on top of the world, and you still have that same obligation and responsibility. So don't let that slip because the season ends after next weekend. You can't. Like these moments are too valuable, and there's a million people that would trade with us in a second to be in this program and playing in a game like this. So if that being out of it takes you away from your game, then you shouldn't be playing at this level, and you probably don't appreciate what you have like you should.
What do you try to get out of these last 4 games?
Well, I guess this game too, 5th game. We may have the youngest team. I haven't gone through everybody's roster, but we need to play. Like every chance we get to play, we need to play. I mean, think about what Jamie Arnold learned today. The play Cam Smith made at the end of the game. Titan Kamaka getting at bats. I mean, and Tibbs and Ferrer, they're sophomores. And Whitaker's these guys we need to play. So what do you get out of it? You get moments like this that are exciting and gives them something to hang on to and some confidence down the road. So that's what it is. We need to play. And there's Ben Barrett needs to pitch. Doug Kirkland needs to still figure out how to do this. And you can just go on and on with the necessity to just log experience and play the game.
Do you see them embracing that mentality? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know where their true mindset is. It's just to stay in the fight and keep working at it and keep fighting. So how we get to the point where you see them continue to fight, I can't tell you exactly the ingredients in that mixing bowl to get them to go. But they do, and I think there is an eagerness to get better and perform and win. I know this hasn't gone how we wanted. This is the youngest group I've ever been around in my life, so they need every inning and every pitch and every ground ball and every rep to get better. Like if you don't approach it with some focus and intensity, you're almost going through the motions, and I don't feel like that's what is happening right now.
And I assume you don't have to adjust your mind. I don't know how often you've ever coached where you've had a finish line that's coming in a week. I don't know if you've ever been in this position before.
My first couple years at Greensboro were very, very, very difficult. My first years at Mercer as an assistant, very, very challenging, unthinkable challenging.
Right.
Like this seems unthinkable. Like I've been through it 3 times, and it's not easy. But I try to stay the course with what I'm doing and how I approach them, in hopes that helps them a little bit. Now it's not easy. This isn't the conversation I want to have. I don't want to be answering these questions. I want to be talking about, are we in a position to host? That's what this ultimately is about. But I really can't control that right now. I can just control how we prepare them. And our assistant coaches do as good a job as anybody I've ever been around at preparing the guys to go out, to have a chance to be in position to know what's going on and have a chance to win. And we keep doing that. And it's your job, and that's how we should approach it. And I hope that rubs off on the guys.
And with that in mind, only a week left. Can a walk-off win over the number 1 team in the country with such a young team, do you think there's any momentum that can be propelled going into the offseason?
100%, 100%. For Cam to go make that play, or for Rank to come in and catch and make that throw, you need to see the work paying off. And this has been, you guys may know, is this the most difficult schedule after this weekend? I'm the representative for the ACC, so the rest of my night will be breaking down everybody's strength of schedule. It's got to be up there. So what more can they have thrown at them? Nothing. But making these plays and delivering some key at-bats and key moments, those are worth 100-fold times what a round of BP and rounding the cage and hitting off the machine and fielding a fungo. When you do it in this moment, yes, it does create some confidence and an excitement about the work you have done paying off in a winning style.
Do you have any